Hey gamers, what's up? Okay, we gotta talk about this ridiculous story that just hit. Now, it's a truly sad story. This 8-year-old kid in Louisiana shoots his grandmother in the head. And I mean, you can't get more tragic than that. So my heart goes out to the family, to the kid, to the grandmother who suffered more than anyone. And it's awful. But when you start putting that video games caused it spin on every frickin' shooting out there, it's ridiculous. And I hate this media hype, this attempt to pour fear into the heart of the masses through the media. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Video games didn't have anything to do with this, and I'm going to tell you why, and it's definitive, okay? First of all, this kid was somehow allowed access to a deadly weapon. Who, in their right minds, leaves a gun out for a kid to get hold of? Okay, not just a gun laying out, but a loaded gun laying out. And, I don't know what kind of gun it was. If it was a revolver, they had a loaded revolver. You never put a loaded revolver on a kid. If it was an automatic or semi-automatic pistol, then that means they had a round chambered. I mean, this is a weapon sitting out, ready for a kid to use to accidentally shoot someone or intentionally shoot someone. Now, we got to assume that an 8-year-old kid doesn't really understand the ramifications of his actions when he takes a gun, he puts it to someone's head, and he pulls the trigger. Now, it could have been as simple as, oh, look, bang, bang, you're dead. Hey, what's wrong? Or it could have been, hey, you never treated me right and I'm mad at you, bang, bang. But an 8-year-old doesn't understand the implications of these actions. He doesn't know any better, and that's why you don't leave guns out for little kids, let alone loaded weapons out for little kids. That gun should have been locked up. That gun should have been up high. That gun should have been unattainable to that child, okay? And the people who left it out are the ones who are at fault. Also, in what house do you let your kid unsupervised sit and play Grand Theft Auto 4 on his PS3? I mean, okay, now we're starting to form a new picture, okay? And I hate to be the one to say it, I don't know what this kid's upbringing was like. I don't know what his surroundings were like, but I already know that he had access to a gun. Now I know that he sits unmonitored and plays Grand Theft Auto 4 in his trailer, okay? We're talking a trailer park. We're talking Grand Theft Auto 4. We're talking loaded weapons laying around. What kind of household was this that this kid was living in anyway? Who lets their kid just unsupervised play mature-rated games with graphic displays of violence, nudity, sexual content, drug use, gore, blood? I mean, really, think about it, folks. Is this kid just supposed to be able to accept this game and say, oh, I know what this is all about. I understand the difference between reality and fantasy without someone telling him? No, he's not. What's the point in putting an M rating on a game if you're just going to have these parents who let their kids play whatever they want? Just hand it to them. Let them go. That's the babysitter. Just put him in there. Leave the kid alone in a trailer with his 90-year-old grandmother, a loaded weapon in Grand Theft Auto 4. A kid who doesn't understand the difference between right and wrong on a truly responsible level. While the motive is unclear, the sheriff's department implied the child's activities in a virtual world may have led to the killing. No. Okay? These awful surroundings for a child led to a killing. Giving a child access to a weapon led to the killing. And you know what? Like I said, we don't know what this kid's family life was like. Okay? All I know for sure is it wasn't a proper place for a child. And I know this kid wasn't being raised properly. Okay? Because I wouldn't leave my 8-year-old kid in the care of a 90-year-old woman who probably couldn't get up and down too easy, who probably couldn't react in the case of an emergency too easily, okay? I wouldn't have left my kid with a loaded weapon, and I'm a gun owner, okay? I know you don't leave your kid with a loaded weapon, period. Although the motive for the shooting is unknown at this time, investigators have learned that the juvenile suspect was playing a video game on the PlayStation 3 Grand Theft Auto 4, a realistic game that has been associated with encouraging violence and awards points to players for killing people just minutes before the homicide occurred. Why was this kid playing this game? It's got an M rating. This is not a game for a child to begin with. But then, we're talking about encouraging children to kill people and blah, blah, blah. This kid could have been watching a TV show. He could have been watching the news. He could have been watching any media outlet, any form of media stimuli to get the idea that shooting someone would kill them, or at least shooting someone would get them back for him being mad at them, or maybe just shooting someone would be fun to do because bang bang ha ha, like little kids who play cowboys and Indians when they're children. I mean, we don't think back to that, do we? You buy your kids airsoft guns, you buy your kids toy guns, you buy your kid fake laser guns, you let them run around and play cops and robbers and shoot each other all day long. And then the second one of them actually gets hold of a real gun, and you never taught him the difference between a real gun and a fake gun, the difference between reality and fantasy, that then it's suddenly a video game's fault that he didn't know right from wrong. No, parent, it is your fault. It's your fault that he didn't know the difference between right and wrong. From a behavior therapy perspective, I would say that's practicing. Christopher Calibi or whatever, an LSU health sciences child center psychologist, told Fox. Okay, you know what? That's not practicing. This guy has obviously never held a gun. Practicing is going out into a range and firing a weapon. It's learning breath control and support for your weapon. It's understanding what recoil is like. You know, that video game didn't teach a kid how to load a gun. That means the gun was already loaded. You know, if the gun hadn't been loaded, he probably wouldn't have been able to get very far, because guess what? Games don't teach you how to load guns, and games aren't really practice for killing any more than playing cops and robbers when you're a kid is practice for killing, okay? So that is I was going to say it, but I'm not going to curse, okay? That is a stupid and ignorant, infantile and asinine excuse for what happened. It's just another way of pouring the blame onto something other than bad parenting. You know what? The gun owner should be charged with neglect and involuntary manslaughter. That's what should really happen. That kid's parents should be charged, okay? And if that was the grandmother's gun, why I don't know why a 90-year-old woman has a gun laying around, then you know what? I'm sorry. She suffered because of something she caused. And it's awful, it's terrible. No one should have to die like that. No one should have to die, period. There shouldn't be such stupidity in the world, but there was. And guess what? It wasn't the kid's fault, and it wasn't the video game's fault. And that's all I have to say. So, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching.